All right, so today we're going deep, really deep into a concept that's, well, pretty fundamental in Islamic thought. We're talking about Al-Haqq.
Al-Haqq. Yeah, it's one of those terms that can seem simple at first glance, you know.
Right, like, oh, the truth, got it, move on.
Exactly, but there's so much more beneath the surface.
And that's what we're here to unpack, right? Like, we're
Yeah.
taking this post, what was it called?
Who's Al-Haqq?
Yeah.
By Mark over on Knowledge is
Yeah,
King.
Knowledge is King. Great blog, by the way. So we're
Ah,
using that as our jumping off point to really understand not just what al-Haq means, but like what it means for, for people's lives, how it shapes their worldview, all that.
absolutely. It's a concept with real weight. You know, it's not just an abstract idea.
Okay, so let's start with the basics then. We know it translates to the truth, maybe the real, but what's the deeper meaning there?
Well, the thing is, in Islam, Al-Haqq isn't just a word, it's one of the 99 names of Allah.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's not just describing God, it's like it as God.
In a way, yeah. It's
Hmm.
saying that God is truth, the ultimate reality. Everything else, everything we see and experience flows from that, you know?
That's that's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. Like all truth originates from this one source.
Exactly. It's like imagine a spider web.
Okay, a spider web, I'm with you.
All those intricate threads, all connected to a single point in the center, right?
Yeah.
Al-Haq is like that center point. All threads of truth originate there and ultimately lead back to it.
That's actually a really helpful image. So I mean, it's beautiful in a way, this idea, but it's got to have real implications for how people live their lives, right?
It absolutely does. For a believer, for someone who truly understands and embraces Al-Haq, it's not just a concept, it's a way of life. It's about striving to align your actions, your thoughts, everything with that ultimate truth, with God's will.
It's like a guiding principle almost,
Yeah.
like a compass.
Exactly. You're constantly trying to orient yourself towards that truth, that divine source. It shapes your understanding of the world, your relationships, everything.
So it's not just about like telling the truth in a literal sense, right? It's bigger than that.
It's much bigger. It's about seeking knowledge, understanding, and then living in accordance with what you learn.
And that kind of brings us back to something you mentioned earlier about Al-Haq being one of the names of Allah. Isn't there like a big emphasis on seeking knowledge in Islam?
There is, absolutely. The pursuit of knowledge is considered a form of worship, a way to draw closer to God.
So by learning and seeking knowledge, you're essentially seeking truth, seeking al-Haq,
That's a great way to put it. You're trying to unravel the threads of that web to understand God's creation and his will.
which again brings us right back to Mark's post, right? Knowledge is king. It's all connected.
It really is.
So wow, we've covered a lot of ground here. We started with the basic translation of al-Haq, and now we're talking about like a divine name, a way of life, this whole interconnected web of truth. It's pretty intense.
It's a powerful concept for sure. And I think it raises some interesting questions, even for those who might not be familiar with Islamic thought.
Right, like what does truth mean to you? Where does your understanding of truth come from?
Yeah, it's something to ponder.
It is, and it's a great place to leave our listeners today. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Al-Haq. It's been, well, enlightening, to say the least. And hopefully it's sparked some of those, those deeper questions for you, our listeners, about truth and where it comes from. So until next time, keep seeking, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.
Keep diving deep.
See you next time.